this tutorial, you will need a 6mm hook, and this is to make the body. For the sleeves, you will start off with a 6mm hook, do a few rows, which I explain in the video, and then you'll go down to a 5.5mm, and then you'll go down to a 5mm. This is to do the decreases in the sleeves rather than putting stitches together. We're just going to go down hook sizes. And then when you get to the bottom of the sleeve, whether you make a short sleeve or a long sleeve, to make the border, we will start with a 4.5mm, and then we'll go to a 4mm to pull it in around your arm or your wrist. If this is too tight for you, of course you won't do this. If it's too big, you can go down to an even smaller hook size. The yarn I used to make the gray cardi is the Craft Smart Value that I got at Michael's. It's 100% acrylic, medium 4. I used 2 skeins. They are 354 yards per skein. I used 2 of the skeins plus this. This is what I had left of the third one. The color is gray. For the purple short sleeved sweater that is a little bit shorter than the other cardigans, I used the Karen Cloud Cake. It's 100% polyester, medium size 4. There are 760 yards in this cake, and this is what I had left. I used almost the entire cake, and the colorway is purple. For the tutorial, I used this yarn. It's kind of a reddish purplish, and it is called Spindle Yarns Daydreams, and I got this at Fabricland here in Manitoba, Canada. It is 100% acrylic. It's considered a medium 4, but it's a roving yarn. There are some strands that are quite thin. It does have a halo. You could almost consider this a medium, a light 3. There are 280 yards in each one of these. I used 3 skeins, and then I had this much left of the 4th one. The color of this is called Ruby Rose. I purchased the buttons from Fabricland here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Buttons are optional. First of all, we're going to make a chain of 77. There are no multiples for this. It is just 77. And I'll show you how to, where it should lay on, like just below your neck. So if it ends up being too tight or too big, change hook sizes. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5. So chain 77. Hey there. Okay, so I just wanted to show you where it should lay on your neck. A little bit loose at the back. You know, not right tight against your neck. And then just lay around, kind of like that. When we make the rows, it's going to pull on this chain, so it'll be a little bit looser as you get your sweater made. The weight of the yarn will make it a little bit looser than this, but that's how we want it basically right now. Do not hook it together because we're not working in the round. All right, so if you think it's too tight for you, go up a hook size. If you think it's too big, go down a hook size. Okay, row number 1, we are going to go in the 5th chain with a double crochet. Never count the one on your hook. We have this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a double crochet in that 5th chain. We're going to put a double crochet in the next chain. Okay, so now we have, this one counts as a double crochet right here, so we have 3 double crochets in a row. Okay, then we're going to skip 2 chains, 1, 2, in the next one, we are going to put 3 double crochets all in the same chain. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to skip 2 chains, 1, 2, go in the next one with 3 double crochets. Okay, 1, 2, 3, all in that chain. And then we're going to skip 2 chains, 1, 2, go in the next one with 3 double crochets. So that means we have 3 sets of 3 double crochets. Okay, 3 sets of 3 double crochets there. Okay, then we're going to skip 2 and we're going to put a V-stitch. So skip 2 chains, go in the next one with a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Okay, double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet. Okay, that's a V-stitch. And then there's different forms of V-stitches. Okay, so skip 2, go in the next chain with 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3. And then skip 2 chains, go in the next one with 3 double crochets. We're going to do this a total of 4 times this time. We just did 3 before. We're going to do this 4 times. Okay, so we've done 2 groups of the 3 double crochets. So we're going to do that 2 more times. Skip 2, go in the next chain with 3 double crochets. Okay, that's 3 groups. Skip 2, go in the next one with 3 double crochets. Okay, so that's our 4 groups of 3 double crochets. Okay, now we're going to skip 2 chains, 1, 2, go in the next one with a V-stitch. So that was a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Okay, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. All right, so now we're going to skip 2 again, 2 chains, 1, 2, go in the next one with 3 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3. Okay, sorry, my yarn caught up to me. All right, so 3, that was 3 double crochets, and we're going to do that a total of 4 times again. Okay, skip 2, go in the next chain with 3 double crochets. Skip 2, go in the next chain with 3 double crochets. Okay, so we have 3 sets of the 3 double crochets. We need 1 more, so skip 2, go in the next chain with 3 double crochets. So now we have our set of four sets of 3 double crochets. Okay, skip 2 chains, go into the next one with a V-stitch. So that's a double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet. Okay, then we're going to skip 2, 1, 2, go in the next one with 3 double crochets. And we're going to make 4 sets of these again. 4 sets of 3. All right, so 3 double crochets. Skip 2, go into the next chain with 3 double crochets. Skip 2, go in the next chain with 3 double crochets. And then skip 2 and go in the next one with 3 double crochets. That should be our 4th set. All right, there's our V-stitch, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of the 3 double crochets. Okay, now we're going to skip 2 chains, go in the next one with a V-stitch. So, oh, I'm sorry, I think I'm out of shot here. So that's a double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet. All right, so then we're going to skip 2, 1, 2, go in the next one with 3 double crochets, and we're going to do 3 sets. All right, so 1, 2, 3. So that's 3 double crochets, and then you skip 2 chains, go in the next one with 3 double crochets. And then skip 2 chains. 1, 2, go in the next one with 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's our V-stitch right here. So we have 3 groups of the 3 double crochets. So you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains left. Skip the next 2 and then put a double crochet in the last 3, 1 in each of those. So skip 2, go in the next chain with a double crochet, go in the next chain with a double crochet, and go in the next chain with a double crochet. So that is row 1. Okay, let's go to row 2. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. That'll count as a double crochet. Turn your work. And now we have these next 2 double crochets here. We're going to put a double crochet on top of each one of those. And this is our border that we're starting here. The border that goes around your neck and around onto the front of your cardigan. All right, now we have this group of 3 double crochets here. We're going to put 3 double crochets into the middle one. And that's what we're going to do for every group of the 3 double crochets. We're just going to put 3 double crochets right into the middle double crochet. Okay, and then we go to the next group of 3 double crochets. Put 3 double crochets in the middle of that center one. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, my yarn keeps sneaking up on me here. Okay, so now we have a third group of those 3 double crochets. Do the same thing, put 3 double crochets in that center one. Okay, now we're up to the V-stitch. Oh, sorry, the yarn is just not cooperating. All right, so we're up to the V-stitch right now. This is our double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. So we're going to make 2 V-stitches in here separated by a chain 2. So let's do that. So double crochet, and this time we're going to chain 1 and then a double crochet, so that will be our first V-stitch there, and then we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to make another V-stitch right in that same chain 2 space. Okay, so double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. And this is what's going to make our cardigan grow wider. It's going to grow longer and it's going to grow wider at the same time. Okay, so we're back to our group, our set of 3 double crochets. Put 3 double crochets in the center one only. 2, 3. Go to our next set of 3, put 3 double crochets in the center, double crochet only. 1, 2, 3. There's our next group of 3 double crochets. Put 3 double crochets in the center, double crochet only. right on top of it. There's our next group of 3 double crochets. Put 3 double crochets right in that center one. One, 2, 3. Okay, and then we're up to another V-stitch here. So we're going to do the same thing we did in the other V-stitch. We're going to put a V-stitch, chain 2, V-stitch. All right, so double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. Then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to make another V-stitch, double crochet, chain 1, and then a double crochet. The only time we use a chain 2 now is when we separate these 2 V-stitches. Otherwise, the V-stitches have a chain 1 in between, in the middle of them. All right, so continue that along this row, and I'll meet you at the end of this row. Now I'm near the end of row 2. I placed my 3 double crochets in the center double crochet of that group of 3, and now we have 3 double crochets left. We're going to put a double crochet on top of each of those. Now this chain 3, chain 3 it also counts as a double crochet, so go on the top of that and make a double crochet. So you have 3 double crochets in a row. Okay, now we're going to chain 3. And we're going to turn our work. And this is how it's looking. Okay, so that first chain 3 we just did counts as a double crochet. We're going to put double crochets in the next 2. Next 2 double crochets. Okay, so we have a total of 3 double crochets there. Here's our set of 3 double crochets. Put 3 double crochets in that center one. Okay, there's our next set of 3 double crochets. We'll put 3 double crochets just on top of that center one. Our next set of 3 double crochets puts 3 double crochets just in that center one. Excuse me. Okay, that's how it's looking. And now we have a V-stitch, we have a chain 2, and we have another V-stitch on the other side. So let's put a V-stitch into this first V-stitch. So that's a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Now in that chain 2 space, we're going to put 2 V-stitches separated by a chain 2. All right, so the first V-stitch is a double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet, and then we're going to chain 2, and then put another V-stitch in that same chain 2 space. So a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Okay, we did a V-stitch in that first V-stitch. We made a V-stitch, chain 2 V-stitch in that center of that chain 2 space. And now we're going to go in this last V-stitch with a V-stitch. So we're going to double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Oops, catching on the threads. Okay, so it's double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Okay, then you go into this next set of 3 double crochets with 3 double crochets just in that center one. I've got some fuzziness working, showing up here. I'll just cut that off. Okay. So there's our 3 double crochets in that center, that middle center double crochet in that group of 3. Okay, go to the next set of 3 double crochets, put 3 double crochets just in the center one. So continue doing this for this row, which is row 3. And then when you come to row 4, in your V-stitch, in your first V-stitch, you'll put a V-stitch. In your second V-stitch, you'll put a V-stitch. In that chain 2 space, we would do the V-stitch, chain 2, and then V-stitch. And then in this next V-stitch, we make 1 V-stitch. In the next V-stitch, we make 1 V-stitch. And then we continue on like normal. So I'm going to do several rows, and then I'm going to show you what to do next. Okay, now I've crocheted 13 rows from here down. That's 13 rows. You may have to crochet more or less, but this is how your piece is going to look. It's going to look like a square, and then this piece here, this part here, is going to overlap. Okay, and that's where if you choose to have buttons, you can put buttons. Your buttonholes are already made for you with this, sorry, my cat's chewing on my yarn, with this border. It's a pre-made border or built-in border with those 3 crochets you did at the end of the row and at the other end. So, so the next thing we're going to do is going to try this on over our shoulders. All right, so let's take our piece and fold it over. Okay, your piece is square, and you're going to put it over your shoulders like this. Open in the front. Now this is your opening here, which overlaps. You're going to take it like that, pull down the back to, so you can reach. See, this is the back, and so you can reach the back and the front, and you're going to do it on both sides. Then you're going to see if this is going to be the right width for you, because we're going to start working, where's my yarn? We're going to start working around this way. We're going to connect the back and the front, work all the way around, come back, connect the back and the front, and come back to here, and then we're just going to go back and forth. All right, so I think this is going to be the right size for me, so I am going to show you how to connect them together. All right, so here's my piece. This is the front opening here, and I have the front and the back right here. So where we made that corner, that it's a chain 2. You're gonna put your let's see, put your stitch markers through that chain 2, and then grab the back piece and do the same thing, hook it together like that. Do the other side, grab that where that chain 2 space is, and the other back and front so that you can connect them together. So now I got to turn this the other way so I can continue crocheting. Okay, okay, I have my chain 3 done already. Actually, I'm gonna have to turn this. Yeah, we're gonna be working back and forth here, so gonna do this this bottom, and we're gonna work until we have the length we desire, and then I'll show you a little border you can put around the bottom. All right, so we have that chain 3, turned our work, put a double crochet in the next 2 double crochets. Okay, now we're at that set of 3 double crochets, so in the center one we're going to put 3 double crochets just like before. These groups of double crochets just add a little bit of interest, I guess. So the whole thing isn't V-stitches. have one more set of 3. So put 3 double crochets in that center one. And just continue on. When you get to a V-stitch, just put a V-stitch in there. Just chain 1, a double crochet, chain 1. Okay, I'm gonna have to hook another ball of yarn onto this. Okay. Go to your next V-stitch, put a V-stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Okay, continue on with that, and I'm going to meet you at where we're going to hook the back and the front together, where we put our stitch marker. Okay, now I finished my last V-stitch into this V-stitch. So now we're going to go in this chain 2 space. We're going to make a V-stitch over the next 2 chain 2 spaces. All right, so we're going to make a double crochet in this first chain 2 space. Make a double crochet. Then we're going to chain 1. And then we're going to make a double crochet in the next chain 2 space. All right, so that is actually a V-stitch. And when you come around the next row, you're going to just put a V-stitch right into this here. And I'll show you that as well. So then we have our next V-stitch, so just make a regular V-stitch in that one. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, V-stitch and the V-stitch. So continue doing that, putting a V-stitch in your V-stitches, and then when you get to your set of the 3 double crochets, make 3 double crochets just in that center double crochet. Okay, and connect your other side just like you did this one. All right, so now you just continue doing your, putting the double crochets where they go, the V-stitches into the V-stitches, same as throughout the whole thing. And then we come back to where we connected the corners, the back and the front, right? So now I put my last V-stitch in this V-stitch. So now I'm just going to wrap right around that one and make a V-stitch, just as easy as that. All right. So there's our V-stitch right in this space. All right, so then we put our V-stitch in the next V-stitch, and so on and so forth, just like we were doing from the beginning. Okay, so you're going to just work back and forth doing this till the sweater is the length that you desire, and then I think I mentioned this, we'll be putting a border around the bottom, and I'll be showing you how to do the sleeves. Now, where we're connected here with our front and back together, we can actually remove those stitch markers. We don't need those anymore. Okay, so this will actually, let's see, this part will actually be our armhole. Now we may have to, I know with mine I have to sew it up a little bit, and then I think I usually leave around from the shoulder to my armpit about 7 inches or so, but I'll show you all that when I do it. And so yeah, just continue going around your piece like before, and until you get the lengths you desire. All right, I shall be back. Okay, so I have made a total of 34 rows. That's from the top chain to the bottom. All right, so now we're going to make our border. So I have chained 3. Turn our work around. It's so dry in here. It's just, the yarn is just sticking to my hands. It's sticking to everything. All right. Okay. See that? It's like a magic trick. Okay. So I chained 3. And I'm going to put double crochets in each of the next 2 double crochets. And then we're going to just make double crochets all around this row. So we have the 3 double crochets in this set here. We would normally put 3 in the middle one, but we're going to put a double crochet in the top of each of those. Okay, in the second set, we'll do the same. Just 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets. Next set, double crochet, double crochet, and double crochet. Oop. And then when we get to the V-stitch, okay, these are double crochets in all those spots there, and then we go to the V-stitch, and we're going to put double crochet in the first double crochet, put a double crochet into the next double crochet. We're going to skip that chain 1. Okay, and then double crochet in the next double crochet in the next one, double crochet in the next double crochet, double crochet in the next one, and so on and so forth. All right, I'll meet you at the end of this row. Okay, now I have my row of double crochets complete. Now I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then turn my work around. Okay. Trying to get back into position here, and this yarn is still staticky, of course. All right, so what we're going to do is we chain 3. So that'll count as a double crochet, and then we're going to go, we're going to do a front post double crochet around the next double crochet. So you go behind it with your hook, grab your yarn, pull under, and then just finish off with a double crochet. And then the second, this next double crochet, we'll just put a double crochet in the top of it. And then the next double crochet, we'll make a front post double crochet. And then just a regular double crochet on the next one. Front post double crochet around the next. And this is the simple last border that we're going to do just around the bottom of the sweater. If you like, you could do whatever border you want. Okay, so every second one, I'm going to do a front post double crochet around it. And then just one regular double crochet on top of the next double crochet. So that is it for our border around the bottom. So continue doing that, and then the next step will be the sleeves. Now here's the border all the way around. Okay, now we're done that. We're going to go to the sleeves. Now this is the sleeve opening. Make sure your garment is inside out. So make sure your border is on the other side. All right, so I need to sew in this much from this part that's under my arm to my shoulder here. Measures about 7.5 inches. Now what I've done is I've counted these V stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that was our chain 2, and then we have a little bit more here, but I counted it so that I have 5 V stitches on each side, and then I'm just gonna sew them together and then do the other arm the same way, of course. So I've marked them in between V stitches. Okay, so that's where I'm going to start sewing them together, in between the V stitches. Sew as best you can. You know, there's just whatever works for you. I go through both, and then I'm going to tie a knot. Oh, I'm laughing at the static in this yarn. Okay. So yeah, just go ahead and sew that together. And then when we're done that, we'll start on the sleeve. And you'll be using the same size hook that you did the rest of the sweater with for the first few rows. And then we're not going to actually do decreases where you crochet 2 stitches together. We're going to actually do decreases by going down hook sizes, as many as it takes, but I'll show you when we get there. Okay, so just sew your piece together. And when you get to the end, just make a knot and sew in your ends. All right? Okay, now we're going to do the sleeves. I've already done one sleeve, and I know that I need to have 19 little, I don't know what you call it, they're not really stitches, they're, well, anyway, a V-stitch counts as one, a V-stitch counts as one, etc. All right, so make sure your garment is the right side out, and we're going to put slip stitch onto our hook. I'm still using the 6mm that I used in the body. All right, so now chain 4, go right into that first V-stitch there, chain 4, which counts as a double crochet chain 1, because we're going to make a V-stitch in each of the V-stitches. And so that's our first V-stitch. Go in the next V-stitch make a V-stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Next V-stitch, put a V-stitch. So that's what we're going to do, same as we did in the body. We're just going to put the same stitch into each stitch all the way around. So V-stitch into the V-stitch. Am I off camera? I'm so sorry. V-stitch into the V-stitch. And then when we get to our set of those 3 double crochets, we're going to put 3 double crochets just into that center one. As you can see, I've already done that. I actually had to frog. Okay, because I needed 19 of these around and I only had 18, and okay, so so I think the center one is right here. So 3 double crochets into that center double crochet. So I think I'm in the center. So keep doing that, 3 double crochets into the center of the 3 double crochets from the previous row. And I'll meet you at the end of this round. Okay, I've counted all the way around and I have 17. So I need to put 2 more to match the other sleeve. So this is my first V-stitch here I made, and my last one. So I have these spaces here. So I need to put 2 more V-stitches. So I'm just going to, can you see that? Just go through this here with half a V-stitch. So a double crochet, chain 1, and then I'm going to go into this center here. So that'll be another V-stitch. So now that's 18. I need to make 1 more. So I'm just going to place it evenly wherever I can find room. Okay, so that's half of it. Put the other half in here. And then slip stitch into the top of that first chain 3 V-stitch we did there, and then slip stitch into the center. And there's a V-stitch. Okay, so this looks a little wonky. Oh, can you see that? Looks a little wonky. So we have a V-stitch here and here, and then this one is actually going to count as a V-stitch, so we need to put a V-stitch in that when we come back around, and then this one too, V-stitch in that when we come back around. I'll do this next row and then I'll show you that. But one thing before we do all that is this okay, where am I? All right, so this V-stitch here, no, sorry, this V-stitch here, the first one we did in that row, you want to mark that with a stitch marker, because you're going to need to make a certain amount of rows for your sleeve that are going to match up with the other sleeve. So this way you know exactly where your first row is for your sleeve, and I just pulled that off, of course. So okay, so that will be my first stitch. So I'm going to make 19 19 more, but I'll meet you back here where this mess is right here. And I'll show you just putting V-stitches in there. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, now here we are at the end of row 2. I counted my little patterns there, and I have 17, so that's working out. And then I made these 2 V-stitches here that don't look like V-stitches, but that's what I made. So I'm going to go into them with a V-stitch. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and then I made that next one right here. So I'm going to go in there with a V-stitch. And then slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 from that next V-stitch. Then go in the center of it, slip stitch, and then start over again, making your V-stitches, chain 4, and then do a double crochet right in that spot, and do your V-stitch in the next, and the next. All right, so that is the second row. I've done it under my arm. I've started right under my arm. So that's 1, 2 rows, and then I'm going to make 2 more rows using the 6mm. And you may want to write this down. So I'm going to make 4 rows in total under the arm using the 6mm. And then I'm going to switch to a smaller one, to a 5.5mm, and do 4 rows. And then I'm going to switch to the 5mm and do the rest of the sleeve in a 5mm. Now, instead of doing decreases by putting stitches together, we're going to do the decreases by going down hook sizes. And when we get to the end of the sleeve, then we're going to make a little border and change hook sizes again. The border will have 2 rows. So the first row I'm going to go down to a 4.5mm, and then the last row I'm going to go down to a 4mm, and that's just going to pull your sleeve in a little bit more around your wrist. All right, so I'll show you when we get there. Okay, I made 26 rows. This is my sleeve. So now I'm going to make the border. So I finished off with the 5mm. Now I'm going to go down to 4.5mm for the first row of the border. That is just to pull it in so that it just tightens up a little bit around your wrist to keep the wind out. Okay, so chain 3. Let's see, we're going to stop above this double crochet. We're not going to go into the middle of that V-stitch. Stop on the top of that double crochet and make a chain 3. And then we're going to skip right over that chain 1 and go into the next double crochet with a double crochet. Go into the next, where are we at here? Go into the next double crochet with a double crochet. Go in the next double crochet with a double crochet. And the next double crochet with a double crochet. Next double crochet. This will help pull in the wrist part as well. Next double crochet. Double crochet. When you get to that set of 3 double crochets, which is over here, we're going to put a double crochet into each one of those. Okay. I'll show you when we get there. Oop. This yarn has a halo, and it's kind of catch the hook in that halo. So now we're at the 3 double crochets. Remember, we would put 3 into the center one. We're going to put a double crochet into each of those. Okay, so continue that all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end of this row. All right, I've put my double crochets all around. So now we're going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 we did to close off the round. And now I'm going to go from my 4.5 millimeter down to my 4 to pull it in even more. All right, for that first double crochet, we're going to chain 3, which counts as a double crochet. And then the next double crochet, we are going to do a front post double crochet. So wrap your yarn, go in behind that double crochet, grab your yarn, pull through, and just make a double crochet. In the next double crochet, we're just going to make a regular double crochet on top of it. Then we're going to do a front post double crochet around the next double crochet. And we're going to alternate like that. Double crochet. And a front post double crochet, and then the next one just a double crochet, next one front post double crochet. Now you can do as many rounds as you want, but this will be my last round on my sleeve, so I'll meet you at the end of this round. Okay, I'm at the end of my sleeve. I'm just going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 at the beginning there. So in total I have 28 rows, but you may have a different amount because everyone's arms are different length, right? So here is the border. Hope you can see that. It's just double crochet, then a front post double crochet, front post double crochet, all the way around. So cut that off and then sew it in. These big scissors. Do not need these big scissors to do this, but these are the ones I just grabbed. Okay. And then the next thing we're going to do is we have our built-in border. So we're just going to do a simple single crochet all the way around, and then you'll be done. All right, so now we're at the, this is the opening of our sweater, and this is the bottom where we did the little border. So now I'm going back to the hook I started with, which was a 6 millimeter. Okay, so now we're going to just do a simple single crochet all the way around just to tidy up this edge. That's it, because we have that built-in border already there. See, these are your buttonholes. If you choose to put buttons, those are your buttonholes. All right. Of course, you don't have to put a button in every hole. Okay. So let's just start making those single crochets. Okay, so you pull your yarns through, chain 1, and it goes through and make a single crochet. Okay, now what I want to do is go through, try to go through try to hook onto 2 of those loops to go all the way around. So I'll put one in here. Go through that chain. a little slow and awkward because of the way we sit when we film. Got a camera right in front of us, and the rest of my sweater is sitting on my lap, and I'm hoping it's not going to slide down. Okay, so just continue doing that. Go right into that chain. Do about 2 single crochets, like I did one here, so I'm just going to put one through that neck, through that chain, and then stop and look every now and then to make sure your row isn't going wonky or tightening up too much, or if it's too loose, you know. So I'll go in this next spot. Go in this next one. Yeah, just even them out as much as you can. Go all the way around the edge, around your neck, and then back down the other side. All right. All right, so I made my single crochets down the one side. That was the bottom. And I just went all the way down one side. And now I'm up to the top, and I thought, oh, I need to videotape how to go around the corner, in case you're maybe new at crochet. All right, so let's see here. I want to find the corner. I'm going to put a single crochet in that corner, and then I'm going to put 2 more single crochets in that corner. Okay, so that was 2, 3 in total, and then that helps us go around that corner. Okay, and then we're gonna continue putting the single crochets all around. This is your neckline we're up to now. So yeah, space them out as best you can, remember, so you don't want your, oh, my sweater keeps slipping. Don't want your row to bunch up or to be kind of wobbly and wonky looking, you know. Okay, so continue on with that. Do the other corner the same way, and here I'll just show you how this looks. Okay, I'm just trying to straighten it out. All right, so that's your corner, and you go around your corner. All right, remember 3 single crochets in the corner to help you go around. All right. Okay, I went around the edge with a single crochet all the way down and around the bottom, and I used my 6mm hook that I originally started this sweater with, and then I also did the sleeves, just a row of single crochet, and I used a 4mm. Okay, sewing on buttons. This is the left side. I actually looked online to see where the buttons should go. Showed me the left side, so I'm going to put one at the very top, and I'm just going to put my needles through here. Depending on the size of your button, you don't want it to go over the edge. I'm using the yarn that I made the garment with to put the buttons on. So, sewed right through. Can you see this? I'm going to go through those holes about 4 times, I guess. So that's 2, 3, and 4. I'm starting right at the top. All right, so we have the button sewn on, so I'm going to tie these pieces together on the back. Oh, I don't know, 3-4 times, maybe 4 times. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I don't have the exact right setup. I'm using, you know what I'm using? I'm using selfie stick stuck in a coffee can surrounded by rags. Okay, just sew in your ends like you would normally when you're crocheting. Cut them off with, okay, so then the next one I'm going to put is going to be right in the very bottom, and I'll sew that one in after. So I'll put another button right at the very bottom, right there, not too close to the edges. And then I'm going to measure, let's see, I'm going to measure between and see, you know, what I should have here. So let's say that's 20. So I'm going to put one at the 10-inch mark, and then I'm going to just maybe eyeball and put 2 more. So I'll have a total of 5 on this sweater. So I bought 6 just to make sure. And then for the hole, I mean, because I made that built-in border, we have lots of spaces, so you don't have to, you know, put your buttons over here and then measure where you should put your holes for your buttons, because they're already built in here. So there's one right there, and if you can see, okay, so I had made those 3 double crochets, and then there was a space, so the space is for the button, so that one would go, oh, I can't do it up because I don't have it sewn on, but that would go, you know, right there. So this one is on and done up. All right.